We're so optimistic about what he's doing. If you look at their publications now, they're worried about these tariffs. And the other thing is that the Ames True Temper plant, the factory is closed, and Bloomberg reports that it appears their products are now made in China.
Wow. Same conversation, though.
Absolutely.
All right, John, thank you for that. In the trade war with China, CBS News got a look behind enemy lines.
But keep in mind, our Anna Coren was shown what the Chinese communists want her and you to see.
It's not every day you're offered a ride in a flying driverless taxi. But that's exactly what happened in the city of Hefei, central China. I rose more than 130 feet into the air on a flight lasting just a few minutes. It was the first stop on a media tour where China wanted to show us how their economy is ready to move forward with or without the United States. EV company NIO, an industry leader of Anhui province, was part of the tour. Its factory, with 97% automation, has the ability to produce 300,000 cars a year, selling on average for $40,000. While there's no denying the trade war is going to hurt China's economy, companies like NIO are proof that the country's future growth and success is no longer pegged to the United States. That point was also made at world-leading battery maker Gotion High-Tech, that's currently designing a battery that will last up to 620 miles before needing to be recharged.
We have a saying in China that you never put your eggs in one basket.
It's turned its focus to markets in Europe and Southeast Asia, giving this homegrown company and many others like it the edge and confidence to withstand the battle ahead.
Anna Coren joined us now from Shenzhen, China. Anna, why do you think they showed all of this to you?
Maurice, this is very much about resolve and resilience. As senior officials told us on they know there is a long struggle ahead, but they are prepared. And then all this talk out of the United States last week about de-escalation and President Trump claiming that President Xi called him, China has thrown cold water on that. Officials here saying there has been no phone call, no discussion, no negotiations on tariffs.
Anna, I got to ask you, you looked very calm in that car. What was that like?
Look, it was an interesting experience over my career. I've had the good fortune of going up in a fighter jet and a Black Hawk, admittedly with professional pilots. But I thought, what the heck? What could go wrong?
Professional pilot's the key distinction, Anna Coren, for us tonight. Thank you, Anna. The president spent a lot of his first 100 days in the top federal job, eliminating other federal jobs.
The latest to go are about 400 people who put together the National Climate Assessment. They were informed today that they are out of work.
But how much is being saved with all of these job cuts? Nancy Cordes has the results of a CBS News analysis.
The Peace Corps may have a global reach, but it has a relatively tiny staff with 3,000 volunteers and fewer than 1,000 paid employees. But it was not small enough to escape the notice of Elon Musk's Operation Doge, which began making significant restructuring efforts this week at the 65-year-old independent agency.
If the savings are rather small and the pain is high, Doge is going to be a liability.
Matt Malkus is a senior fellow at the conservative-leaning American Enterprise Institute, and he's been tracking Doge's cuts. He says while Doge claims to have slashed about $160 billion in federal spending so far, the actual figure could be about half that, which amounts to less than 1% of the government's annual budget. That's akin to a family with $10,000 in monthly bills, trimming its spending by $100.
We see thousands of people being laid off, hundreds of contracts being canceled. How could it be that the savings is still so small?
A lot of government spending just isn't contracts and it isn't salaries. I mean, federal workers' salaries are something like 4% of federal spending. If you really want to cut federal spending, you're going to have to cut into the programs where the lion's share of the money is. That's Medicare and Medicaid, Social Security, and we spend a lot on interest.
A CBS News analysis finds that despite the Doge cuts, the federal government has spent about $220 billion more in Trump's first 100 days than it did during the same time period last year. Stephen Miller is Trump's deputy chief of staff.
The fiscal year ends in September 30th. There's still a lot more year left. So let's see where we are at the end of the year.
And Nancy Cordes now at the White House. Nancy, a lot of people might remember Elon Musk saying he balanced the budget with the Doge cuts. Was that realistic?
It was not, because that would have required him to cut about $2 trillion in spending. And just for comparison, Maurice, that would be about 12 times more than Doge claims to have cut so far.
Okay, Nancy Cordes at the White House. Thank you.
Now more of the top stories from around the world in the evening news.